So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Fiona Redding. I am one of the ambassadors for the Great Aussie Hike, and I'm really excited to be here tonight for the super exciting safety briefing, which is an incredibly important aspect of the event. So we're going to keep it absolutely on topic tonight. I know there's been two other briefings that have been done in the past, which I'm sure you have attended, and if you haven't, there are recordings available. So if you've got any questions tonight which are not safety specifically related, we're not going to have an opportunity to discuss them or cover them tonight, but we can refer you back to previous briefings where you will be able to retrieve that information. So I think without any further ado, Anna and Luke, I'm going to hand over to you. What we're going to do tonight, we're going to have Anna and Luke are going to talk through the safety briefing. We're going to hear from Lifeline, and then we're going to swing back to all of you who are on the call tonight if you've got any questions. But as we're moving through, if you do have questions, you're very welcome to put them into the chat. And then I'll make sure at the conclusion of the briefing, if they haven't been addressed, actually, you might want to even hold off on your questions. Let's just redo this. Maybe hold off, have a notepad and pen, and hold off on any questions that you've got unless they have been addressed as we're moving through the briefing tonight. So Luke and Anna, I'm going to hand over to you.
Well, thank you, Fiona. And for those who don't know us, we're Luke and Anna, the event directors of the Great Aussie Hike, and I guess the leaders of a really incredible small group of volunteers who have been putting the Great Aussie Hike on now. We started in 2020 as something to help people get through lockdown, and now it's kind of taken on a life of its own, and we're really excited to be here presenting our fourth walk. We've done our third Great Aussie Hike, and we also did a mini Great Aussie Hike late last year. So let's just get started. We know that we talk a lot about this in the newsletter each week, but we can't express enough how important it is to read through the participant information guide. This is your most valuable resource to make sure that you have a successful journey down the course. We will be releasing version 2 probably tomorrow night or Friday morning, and it will include a link of the recording tonight as long as it works, and any extra information from this presentation that you need to plan and prepare. So it'll all be written down. There'll be all the links. You should already be aware of everything that's happening in your dashboard.
Yeah, so the focus of tonight is on safety. So we won't be covering all the topics from our last two briefings. We also don't, just because we don't want to leave you, keep you here till midnight talking about it all.
Especially because those briefings went for an hour each.
Yeah, correct. Previous briefings are available to watch on our YouTube channel that is linked in your dashboard in the training dashboard.
Yeah, so there's the 2 full YouTube clips of the briefings, but then some of them we've actually broken into smaller topics. So if you want to go back over share the distance or the support crew role, foot care, things like that, they've been broken down into 2 or 3 minute videos. So they're quite quick to go through. But again, we just don't want to be here for 3 hours tonight. And especially those who have attended all the briefings or watched the videos have to get repeated to them. So we are going to start off and talk very briefly about the challenge, just to make sure we're touching on a couple of those key points. By now, you should be quite familiar with this graphic. We've been showing it a lot in your participant information guide. The most important thing to understand through here is the terminology. So wellness stops is the locations along the course that we set up event sites. And this is where we support you as walkers and where you join up with your support crew. The sections, when we refer to the word section, that's the distance between the 2 wellness stops, the time that you're on course. So they're really important topics to know. Luke also runs through in the first information briefing. He goes through the course in quite detail, talks for about 10 minutes about it. So if you'd like to learn more before you hit it, jump back in and watch one of those recordings.
Now, you should almost also be familiar with this page from the participant information guide. But it's good to check over your distance. It just runs you through those little extra details that you need.
And again, just something to make sure that everyone's really clear. This is a great graphic that shows us what sections you're walking for your chosen challenge. So obviously the 100Ks are doing all 10 sections. The 43 kilometres, they're shown here in blue. So they do all 5 sections on day 1. The 57 kilometres, all the red sections, they're sections 6 to 10 on day 2. And then the 30 kilometres join us at section 8, and they do 8, 9 and 10. and get to the finish line with us.
Now, once again, another one from the participant information guide is this table that outlines where each of the wellness stops are and what you'll find at them. We've discussed the 2 checkpoints before in our last sections, and this is in regards to wellness stop 1 at Lightwood Creek. It's too remote for support crew to access. Therefore, if you need to change walkers or gear, we've set up 2 locations either side, 5 k's either side, at Bushrangers Bay Car Park and Greens Road. Walkers also note that you're not allowed to use the toilets at Lightwood Campground, so plan accordingly. We have placed an extra toilet out that's 1.5 k's before the wellness stop, just due to that access is very, very limited. It's 4-wheel drives only, and we've got can only take 2 vehicles in.
Yeah. And we're also putting toilet trailers at both Bushrangers Bay and Greens Road where you can do the walker change. So there are lots down there. Just don't see the sign saying 1 kilometre to wellness stop and think that's where you're going to get a toilet. Just plan yourself along there. The rest of the trip, there's toilets at every wellness stop. Okay, so parking has been considered at all sites, but we do have to work together because there are limited positions. If we found places that there were big concrete car parks that everyone got a spot all at the same time, it would be a very boring course. So because we're trying to get to remote areas, we all have to work together to make sure that we can make the parking work. If we do that, there's more than enough for everybody. So the most important thing is please do not turn up at the sites 2 or 3 hours. You know, leave one site from your walkers. You're not going to see them for another 2.5 hours and go and park at the next wellness stop. So what we need is, as the walkers, because you're all spread out, that means that your cars can be spread out. So what is a requirement for support crew is that they need to wait till their teams hit a sign on course that says 1 kilometre to the wellness stop. That means you've got a good 10, 20 minutes to go into the support, into the wellness stop, set up heaps of time. But if you do that, then everyone can go in, have their time, leave, and the next people can come in. With checkpoint 1 and checkpoint 2 that we've been talking about, these aren't proper setups. So these are smaller car parks, bush car parks. These are just where if you've got someone jumping out of the car and someone jumping in the walker change. So you really shouldn't be there for any more than 5 minutes. And definitely one thing that we noticed last year was the 57 and 100 kilometre teams, a lot of their support crew was arriving at Crib Point between 9 and 10 o'clock in the morning, setting up big barbecues, taking up 3 car spots. This made it really hard for our 30 kilometre teams to get in, get dropped off. Their family want to wave them off at the start line. So just make sure you don't come to Crib Point till after 11 a.m. None of your teams are going to be in before 11 a.m. So you've got heaps of time. There's lots of space there, but just wait for the 30 kilometre teams to come in, leave, then you guys can come in and have all the space that you want.
Yeah. So most importantly, after this, we've got Ted Harris, which is wellness stop 8. Now, we've been given special permission for the 57 and the 100k support vehicles to park here. So they'll have this display sticker that's on the corner there. And it is a no parking area generally. We've just been limited to very much a maximum of 30 minutes if you have that support vehicle. We have traffic management in the area and we have our crew assisting as well. However, if you do park for too long and you don't have a sticker, as in the 30k teams, it is highly likely that you will be fined, as the council is really trying to crack down on that area.
So just definitely make sure that, again, 30 kilometres don't have support crews, so there's not really any need to have a car there. And again, just stay on top of that, but definitely make sure that you've got the sticker shown in your window as well. The finish line is another one that we know people get very anxious. I think some people last year were waiting 5 or 6 hours because obviously they wanted to be at the finish line. They didn't want to miss their loved ones coming in. This is where we say around Devil Bend, you've got lots of reception. So you can 100% be communicating with your family. We've popped a sign up at the 5 kilometre to finish mark, and we actually say now's a great time to ring your family and friends. They'll have around an hour depending upon your pace to arrive. So they're not going to get there too early. And then we've got no car spaces for those that are leaving. And again, there's another signpost at 2Ks to go and 1K to go. So lots of time to be contacting your family. They're not going to miss you coming over the finish line.
Okay, this is basically just running through pretty self-explanatory, and we'll put and it's in the participant information guide. Now, these are the vendors that we do have at these places. Please note that there are some that are cash only, just due to reception mainly.
And the community, because Crib Point Community House, that's just a little fundraiser for the community house. So
correct, yeah.
They're cash only too.
So yeah, bring some cash along for the day. These people are out there to support us as well. So give them a hand and enjoy the food.
This will be in the new participant info guide, so you can read through it in more detail and make your plans. All right, so one of the biggest things that we need to work on is when we all get to the start line. Obviously, this is the time that we're all in the one place at the one time. The rest of the day, we're all really spread out. So this procedure is for all distances. And yes, that also includes the 30 kilometres. Walkers, you do have compulsory equipment as well. So what we need is when you first arrive into the start line, we're going to ask that every team is prepared before you actually line up, just to keep the lines moving. If you line up and then you're like, oh, we've got to find all our equipment and get it out, that slows everything down. So get everything prepared before you line up. So the whole team, every single person that is walking and getting a race bib needs to be at the first table. This is where we do the ID checks. We just need to check. We don't need to see tickets or receipts or anything like that. We want to see that the person that we are giving a race bib to is the person that we've got in our system, that we've got linked to medical info, emergency contact, all that. That's a really important part of our safety. We can't have people that we're giving wrong medical info and stuff like that to in an emergency. Yes. So that's what we want to see. We want to see that every individual's compulsory equipment that they need to carry, and then one person needs to show us the compulsory gear for the team. Once your team is ticked off, then just one person, usually the team captain, will go to the next spot and pick up the race pack and the team radio. So you don't need everybody to go to that one, just one person to that. Then the team captain can go back to wherever the team is standing. This is where you all put your race bibs on, you go and get your team photo together, you grab a coffee, you go to the toilet, you warm up, all those kind of things.
Yeah, so day one, the site opens from 6 a.m. We will be closing the team pickup at 6:45 so that we can get the teams ready and departed by 7 a.m. This is for the 143 people. Once again, we'll go through those checks beforehand. Day two, site opens at 6 a.m. and all teams depart at 6:30. It's for the 57K teams to check in, and the 100K teams only need to pick up their radio for that day as they've checked in the previous day. We will be closing this site at 6:40. So getting in there, making sure you're out walking by that 6:30, because we need to back down so we're ready for the next spot. The day two for the 30K teams, site opens at 9:50 a.m. for the first bus arrivals, and 10 a.m. Yeah, waves will be grouped by bus allocations. So those not on buses will depart at 11 a.m. Again, another guide from the participant information guide, so I won't go into too much detail. Just wanted you to note the foot wash stations. Now, these are along the course. We've got 3 different sections of them along the course, and they are to stop the spread of disease that killed the natural flora in the area. So please make sure that when you arrive at these, that you walk along the mats, you make sure your feet are drenched in the chemical before you walk on. We also, for the environment, we always suggest carpooling as much as possible. Obviously, the less car is better on the environment and the less pollution out there. And
it's less impact on the local communities as well. So the other thing that's really important on day two, especially when you have support crew, is to make a plan that everybody gets to cross the finish line together. So at the finish line, there is somewhere that you can walk out 600 metres. So you're starting up here, you're walking all the way along here, that's 600 metres, and you can meet your team here, who are these little people coming up the course, and you can walk around the reservoir around there and finish at the finish line together. It's about a 1.5K walk for people walking out from the finish line. Again, as we were saying, your teams have got signs saying 5Ks to go, 2Ks to go, 1K to go, so they can get in touch with you and plan when's a good time for you to come out, so you're not standing out in the bush by yourself for too long. But this is a really great way. Support crew are a really vital part of this event. It is a team event, and you can't do it without your support crew. So it's lovely if you can all go out and acknowledge that you've done it as a team, cross the finish line, and all get a medal together.
Okay, now at the finish line, basically, we just want to bring this in as a party. Everyone has achieved a great effort out there over the 2 days or the 1 day, whatever you're walking. So we do have a food truck. We'll have our combi keg for celebrity drinks again, celebratory, sorry. And we have a DJ there to get the party started. So think about staying for at least half an hour to an hour afterwards to cheer the next groups on and help them across the finish line as the previous groups did with you. Then if they stay for the next half hour, it sort of really rotates and keeps that party going for the evening. And we can really ensure everyone gets a really great reception as they cross and have done the achievement for the couple of days.
And you get the experience of having everyone cheer you home, and then also the experience of supporting others and giving them a cheer as they come through as well. So the most important thing when we talk about safety is being prepared. And part of this is, remember, again, you're a team, so you should be starting to make a team plan. If you haven't already had a catch up as a team, we recommend that now is the time to do it. Please don't be doing it the night before. These are things that you should be talking about now. They include, what are the tasks that whoever's in the support crew, what are the expectations? What are they going to be doing? Are they going to get to the wellness stop and pull out chairs and a picnic table while everybody else is having a rest? Are they going to grab the water bottles and go and refill them? Things like that. How long does your team plan to be spending at each wellness stop? It's something really good to agree on before you hit the course. Who's going to be bringing the different compulsory items for the team gear? Whose car are you going to use? This is, with thinking about that, just know that you're not all on, bitumen highways. There are dirt tracks that you're on. There are rural parts, remote parts of this event. So maybe it's the person whose car is going to take a dirt road the best, or maybe it's whoever's car's got the biggest boot for carrying all your gear around. Start having talks. Is everyone just going to bring their own food? Are you going to have some food to share? How's that all going to work? Are you planning for all different weather conditions and how your team's going to tackle that? Are you packing extra gear for that? As a team, are you going to get dressed up? Are you going to get matching t-shirts? Is there anything else to be a team together on course? How are you going to communicate during the event days? This is just even as a team. How are you going to communicate with your support crew? Do you have a plan if somebody gets tired and things don't go to plan, or they need to be picked up, or those kind of things? It's also important to start thinking about who's going to walk which sections and how you're going to manage that.
Yeah, and we've talked about share the distance a lot previously, so this is also from your guide. So it's just a quick reminder, unless otherwise arranged with us, a team of 5 allows you 4 walkers on course per section and 1 person acting in the role of support crew. If people are getting tired and that you're struggling to get team members on course later in the event, we only need to cover minimum team numbers, as you can see on this sheet down the side, while you're out on course. So your support crew may have increased to 2 or 3 people, as long as you've got those minimum number of people on course.
And again, we've just made sure the hardest part of the course is right at the start when everybody's fresh and you can get more team members out on course. So make sure that your support crew vehicle is very well organised so that everyone can find their stuff. We highly recommend plastic tubs. They're really handy, especially if it's raining and everyone wants to get their gear out of the car and go through. But definitely try and come up with a plan. If everything's just thrown in there, it does make it hard for people to find what they need if they're in a hurry.
All right. All distances are really long and nutrition is very important. So please chat with the team about your meal the night before. Obviously, that nutrition going into that meal is really important.
And don't forget about breakfast as well. So if you're all staying together, make sure that you're planning as a team about what food you're going to bring, whether you're going to eat it in the car going to the site or something like that, but do not hit the course without any food in your belly.
Now, okay, so we have the best dressed team on course competition going again this year, which is great.
It was a lot of fun last year.
It definitely was. Amazing to see everyone out there and put the effort in getting in there. Doesn't mean you have to dress up, just gives you the opportunity. There are Peninsula Hot Springs voucher to win.
Yeah. And even just some teams, they didn't want to get as dressed up as our lovely Miles for Smiles, who did a spectacular job. But just even sometimes having the same color t-shirt, and it can just be a cheap t-shirt from Kmart that you're all in a red t-shirt or a green t-shirt. It's just really nice as a team to be out there doing something. And don't forget about your support crew as well. It's nice if you're not sharing the distance and coming on off the course and someone's exclusive support crew, that you make sure that they're included in and you get up as well.
Because they're definitely part of your team and it's really important that they are. Okay, so we really love seeing everyone's training coming onto Facebook. It's really good because it inspires others as well to see some amazing spots of Victoria, but just shows people out there getting out there doing what they can. As you can see here, all these amazing places around Victoria, and these are all walkers from the last couple of years. We still have the Brooks vouchers available for that interactions on Facebook, so keep them coming, keep that inspiration going for everyone, and lovely to see you before the event as we're going.
And while we've been really proud of you guys for preparing and training, it's really important to remember that now you're moving into your tapering phase. So yes, you still need to be training and doing some walking, but you shouldn't be doing as much as you have been in previous weeks. Just remember to refer to your training plan, because it's all written there, the best ways to taper, and make sure that you're fresh for challenge day.
Okay, so compulsory equipment, as we said, we'll be checking this at the start, and we've been through it quite a bit in detail in how to prepare briefing. So the things we will be looking for is that photo ID, your water pack, mobile phone, on your mobile phone, the Emergency Plus app, and all the team gear. And we continue to get messages from 30K teams in regards to high-vis vests. Don't assume you're not going to finish in the dark. Please remember that things can happen on the day.
Things
that
go
may cause you,
Yep.
that may cause you to be out there for a bit longer. The weather may just be really dark and overcast, and we just require you to be seen.
You might have one of your teammates just goes down for a couple of hours, and you guys all decide, no, we're going to stop, we're going to wait with them because there's a chance that they can get back in and finish with you, or they end up walking a lot slower than what you've been training.
Yeah. Yeah, so we don't know what weather we're going to be getting yet, and it's a Melbourne region. It's never guaranteed anyway. So
we'd love to know what the weather is now. But again, we've been watching the long-term forecast. It is bouncing around like a yo-yo at the moment, but a couple of days ago, the forecast they were throwing is you guys would pretty much be in high-vis vests for the whole day. It looked that dark and gloomy. So if that's the case, you don't want to be caught that you haven't got a high-vis vest, and we're put through the radios, right, everybody, it's got very dark, the rain is coming, you're now going to sections where there's some road walking, you need to put your high-vis vest on, and you don't have one and you've got to come off course. So we'll leave that risk up to you. You might want to wait a couple of days to see what the weather's doing, but we have to keep you safe. So if you need to have it on and you don't, we will be pulling you off the course. Okay,
so talking about vests here, actually very easy to access these days. Most shops will have them, a lot of even the $2 shops. The important thing is to get the day-night high-vis vest, so with the reflective strips, as seen in the tick there.
Okay, so we were also talking about in your compulsory gear that includes having some apps on your phone. This is the Ride with GPS app and the Emergency Plus app. We also highly recommend, these aren't compulsory, we're not going to check them, but while you're downloading, it's a smart thing to do. Make sure you've got Vic Emergency in case we are getting any crazy weather coming through. Make sure you've got Australian Bites and Stings. So if something's happening on course, you've got a resource you can use there. You want to have the Bomb Weather app. We usually have a host of weather apps going on, but you want to be watching the weather as you're out there. And most people already have Google Maps on their phone. That's really handy when connecting with trying to find different sites and stuff like that, especially when you're being the support crew.
So when we release the update participant information guide, we'll have this recording in extra info. We'll also include these links to the course maps. And here's a quick run through of how to get them to work. So Ride with GPS, you set up via the desk. We found easiest to set up via the desktop. You open the link, click on the 3 white dots and select share to the device. The step-to-step guide is easy to follow, and then there's some instructions at the end.
So if you're not using a desktop and you're opening the link directly from your phone, you want to start by going down the bottom of your screen and hitting the save button. Then a menu pops up and you want to hit save to pin. Then when you go back on event day, you can go back in, you can see along the bottom, it says home, explore, record, library, and more. Click on library, and at the top of the screen, click on pinned. And that's where you've saved those courses, whether you need day 1, day 2, or the 30-kilometre one, or a mixture of both. Then they're all there ready for you to use. Now, there's 2 options for how you can use Ride with GPS. You can either use on the last picture, there's the little location icon. We've circled there in orange. You can click on that. That's a free option to be able to get your location and where you're going along with the course. This is an iPhone picture. On an Android, it looks more like a target symbol.
Yeah,
so
just a circle with a couple of lines like a target.
But just know it's in that same location. If you have a subscription or a trial subscription version for Ride with GPS, down the bottom, you can click on the navigate button and it will direct you through.
And okay, so the blue dot shows where your location is, as it would normally would with any Google Maps or any maps. You can then see the course and when you are in relation to it and navigate yourself accordingly. If you want to use the paid, so this is the free, basically using a free version. We found that if you want to use the paid version, there's an option for a 7-day free trial. So sign up on the Thursday, get yourself an alarm and unsubscribe on Sunday. And this will allow you actually to use the navigation, and it'll actually talk to you about with step-by-step instructions and let you know when you go off course.
So this is the type of thing, you've gone off course, you're still off course, it's giving you a little alarm. You don't really need to be having it navigating the whole time. This is more for you to have maps and some way to get back on course if you're going, hey, I haven't seen a sign or I haven't seen people, I'm getting a bit worried. You want to open up your maps and see where they're going. Most people should be fine just using the free one because, again, you just get your blue dot, you can see where the course is, and you should be able to figure your way back to where you've got to be. Okay, so this is just when the next version of the participant info guide comes out, this is what it will look like. So they're on closer to the start where the course elevation page is. All these little buttons over here, that's where you'll be able to download your maps. Just please remember, as we keep saying, the maps are getting released very late because we have had issue with people training on the course, going through people's private property, walking down very busy 100-kilometre roads in the middle of the road because they're like, well, this is where the course is. Those roads are closed when we're using them on event day. So this makes it difficult for us to get permits. Looks like we're running an unsafe event. The private landowners don't want us coming back, all that sort of stuff. So please be very respectful, and you don't need to train on the course. Go and see it for the first time on the day.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you're out walking, okay, the Emergency Plus app, this is basically in red when you open it up. So when you're out walking along section, it can be challenged to always know where you are. That's why this is really good app, even for walking while you're training. You can open it up and get your exact location. And this is important if talking to emergency services, for talking to us over the radio, because then we can record where you are and pinpoint exactly where you are. And if you don't have reception, team members continue along the course and can get that location for you to let us know where you are if there's a disaster. This is also those 3 little words down the bottom there. It's really important because if you actually ring 000 emergency for anything, they will actually ask for you those 3 words, and that will pinpoint you anywhere in Australia, I think it's the world, to one location. So that's why they have that 3 words, and they'll just ask for those 3 words from the Emergency Plus app.
And this is also a tool that you can use to talk to your support crew. They can take your latitude and longitude and actually type those numbers straight into Google Maps, and it'll show them where you are if it doesn't give you an address, because some of the places, as you've probably seen from the well-to-stop addresses, they're a little bit random what we're giving you. End of Greens Road, go to number 170 and you'll find it, that sort of thing. Hodgins Road, Toorong, like they don't have specific numbers, but that latitude and longitude, type that into your Google Maps' support crew and you'll find your team. All right, let's go through some of the rules and the guidelines for the event.
So one of the really important ones is obviously course etiquette and just being respectful of the community's environments that we are in. And we're really strongly advocates for this, and we don't have a lot of tolerance for leaving rubbish and teams just being disrespectful. So please remember these are public places and there will be other people on the course. We can't completely shut the course, which is actually really good because these other people want to use the environment.
Yeah, and they're locals. They're using their paths and their trails and their horse riding and riding bikes and walking with their families and things like that. So it's important that we still let them do that.
Yeah. So if you hear people behind you or at any time, just stay left on the path, let other people pass. We also have a very strong leave no trace rule with us. There is zero excuses for leaving rubbish, litter, anything being left out on course. And the easiest way to combat this is put some freezer bags in your pack to pick up rubbish on each section. When you get to the next wellness stop, place them in the bins there. And when you're ready to move on to the next one and keep going, you've got another couple of garbage bags there for you to keep going. Generally speaking, think about the amount of rubbish when you're packing in for your supplies. There's a big push for nude food, school lunches and things these days. So think about that while you're packing for getting out there walking, and apply the same practices. Also, a really good one is also make sure lids are off sort of one-use drink bottles and coffee cups, because this allows us to actually crush them down easier once they are in garbage bins. So it just packs down easier than having the lid back on and full of air, and get rid of all that fluid that's in there.
And when we say leave no trace, we really mean no trace. If you don't make it to the toilet, it's 100% your responsibility to clean up. This is not for a volunteer to come past and sort out.
Also, while you're out there are roads that we are crossing, and these are some major roads as we go. We do have traffic management at these locations helping you cross. So please be mindful. They are live. The traffic management will stop vehicles, allow you to cross safely. There are some minor roads and small things. Stop, look both ways. We've all heard it for many, many years. Stop, look and listen before you cross the road. We don't want you risking yourselves out there. So just be very mindful there is traffic around.
So the challenge rules are all listed on our website, so you can click through from your participant info guide and get them. There's a brief listing here in the info guide. So you guys can read through those. We're just going to highlight some that are most important to us. This is having a visible race bib at all time, preferably on the front of your body. If you put a coat on, the race bib comes off, your coat goes on, race bib goes back over the top. Then if you take your coat off, you're taking your race bib off, you're putting it back on your top. This is also really handy for course marshals, might be out on course and need to tell us something about you. They can't be looking, is it under your coat, is it on your bag, all that kind of stuff. We might have people driving past, we've got first aid out looking for you, all different things. So the more visible your race bib can be, it's just the easier and the safer we can keep things.
Other thing is to stay together as a team. You must remain within 100 metres of the team radio at all times. You can be in little groups of two, but just you're within that close area. This is just in case anything does go wrong. Someone might twist an ankle. You don't want your team that's 500 metres down the track and they just keep walking, because you're not looking after each other then. So staying within that close area with each other. And this is something we are serious about, and we may take you off course if we find that you're way too far apart.
Yeah, you've got to look after your teammates. Yeah. So now let's have a chat about what do we do if one of our team members gets injured. So first thing, we've been going on about this race bib. It's important for you guys to understand how the race bibs work. So a lot of it is the cute, fun stuff being part of the team. You've got your name, your team name, your distance, all that sort of stuff. That's great. We're, from a safety perspective, looking at the numbers down in the bottom right-hand corner. So the first three numbers, this is your team number that's in our system. We've got lots of really creative and fun and exciting team names that, often give us a giggle as we see the registrations come through. There's also some that are really, really similar. Red Hot Chili Steppers, we have 4 different versions of how people have spelt that and done different versions and things like that. So we need, from event control, we need your team number. That's what we work off. After the dash is then an individual number that everyone in your team gets. So the largest team we've got has 12 people. So this will be a number between 1 and 12 that's linked directly to you. So if we get a message and we're like, it's team 308, person 7, we know that's Peter. We're straight onto his emergency contact. We've got his medical info up. We're telling the doctor, we're telling first aid. We are working things out straight away to look after Peter the very best we can. We just need to know, make sure that it's definitely Peter that's got that bib on. On the back of your race bib, we're going to go through now about how to report an incident. We're going to give you the long version now, but you don't need to memorize it. There is this summary version that's on the back of your race bib. So you can quickly take your race bib off. It's got our phone number, it's got how to use your radio, and it's got a step-by-step guide what to do in both situations.
All right. So basically any first aid incident, or any incident. If an incident is life-threatening, call 000 immediately. Do not pass go, do not collect 200, just call 000. Yes, we do still need to be notified, but if it is life-threatening, they are your first contact. All the emergency services have our details, so they know we're out there, we know we're walking, they know we've got people. So I'll be working with them in regards to getting you safely through this course. Once you notify us, we will be getting first aid and our own course doctor out to you quickly to provide support until emergency services arrive too. You won't be left alone. We will be there to help. Now, Dr. Annie, who I believe is here, will be with you all the entire journey, and she joins us tonight. Would you like to say hi, Annie? If she's
Hi.
There we go. So we also have our wilderness medics, Tony, from the How to Prep Pet session on course both days, and they're supported by the Medical Edge first responders as well.
So there's lots of support out there for you. But most of the time it will be we hope all the time it's non-life-threatening situation. And when it's a non-life-threatening situation, the first point of contact you make is with event control. As we said, we've got the doctor, we've got the medical. We actually have people out on course, especially those remote places we were talking about at the start. We've already got vehicles out there so that we can get to you very quickly. So the first thing you want to do is phone, text, or use your radio and contact event control.
Okay, so sometimes the radios have better reception than your phone, so they are a great backup tool. Now, when you receive your radio in the mornings or when at the start, make sure you take a minute to look and see how it works. You'll be given this printout as a guide for your help. More importantly, look for the channel button, which is number 2 on this guide, the hold to talk button, number 7, and the orange button that if you hold for 3 seconds, emits an emergency notification. Now, with the hold to talk buttons, same as any kid's little radio, just this button on the side, and hold to talk, release once you've finished talking so that someone else can talk. These are a 2-way radio. You can't have more than 2 people talking at once.
It's very important to take your finger off the button.
Yeah. Now, your radio will have 2 channels. Channel 1 will be our general broadcast channel. So you'll hear everything from event control, and you cannot talk to us on this channel. You can just hear what we're saying to you. Now, to change to channel 2, if you rotate the channel dial to channel 2, then you can speak directly to event control. Now, and the lovely Julia will be who you'll be hearing from throughout the challenge broadcasting. Jules, are you here as well?
I am here. Welcome. Looking forward to seeing everyone.
Yeah. So Jules will be your first point of contact in that case, and then we'll be following up very quickly in regards to if you flick to channel 2 to talk to us, there's a particular reason for that.
And as well as Jules being there to answer your phone calls and talk on the radios, these radios are all GPS tracked. So this is how we are keeping an eye on your team. Jules will be glued to the computer screen and watching your little dots all go along the course. So sometimes we're able to predict that something is not quite right with your team even before you guys know what's going on. And that's where she might contact you and go, hey, can you just jump on channel 2, have a bit of a chat? Because then it's private, not everyone's listening. Yeah. You guys have a bit of a chat. She's like, okay, I think you've gone off course a little bit, just go left, follow you up here a little bit, and you're back on course and you're all good to go. So just know that for your whole time out there, we have got eyes on you.
Okay, to how to report a withdrawal. So basically, if someone on your team is getting exhausted, they just can't manage to get through that section, that's fine, that's okay. So you can get picked up by your support group to collect them on course. You just need to text Julia that message, just saying, I'm picking up this walker, their number, use that number again, so that she can just record it for that section. And before you return to course at each walk, we get you to check out and while we're walking during the event, sorry.
So we're always checking, because obviously your teams are rotating between who's on course and who's being support crew. As you leave each wellness stop, you need to come and do a checkout. And that's where we record, okay, team members 1, 2, 4, and 5 are going to be on course for this section. Number 3 is going to be the support crew. That just helps us know who's on course, who's the support crew. We need to contact your support crew. We know which member to call. Or if there's something going on, like we have to do an evacuation from course, we know who's definitely out there. So let's start off by when we're talking about an evacuation from course, this is very unlikely to happen. We don't want anyone to start stressing and losing sleep over it in the next 2 weeks. The main reasons for evacuations are usually due to pretty significant weather events, and it would be very unlikely that a weather event would be coming through, that with all the access we've got to weather apps and all those things going on, emergency services, all that kind of stuff, that we wouldn't have a good idea that something was coming before we're going, hey, quick, everyone's got to get off course. So it's very unlikely, but it's the same as when you do a fire drill in the workplace. We need to plan, we need to be prepared, but we're not going to lose sleep and you guys be panicking. What would be far more likely to happen is if there was a significant weather event coming through, we would be stopping you at a wellness stop and going, right, everybody, we need to all jump in our support crew cars. We've got to stop the event for an hour. If you want to go off and do something and come back, that kind of thing. That's what we would be stopping, is going, no, you're not going out on the next section. We're pressing pause, as opposed to us sending you out on course and then everyone running around frantically trying to get you back off.
Now, what we will do in this case, we will be broadcasting through channel 1 if there is an emergency like this. So you must leave your radio on channel 1. Do not move to channel 2 or try to contact us on channel 2 or ring us. Just keep listening for the instructions. Next, get your maps out. Use Ride with GPS to see your location on the course. Where the closest road is, it may be behind you, so check that. Start moving to the closest road while you ring your support crew and give them a location to come and pick you up. As I just mentioned, text event control, do not call them. Just text them and let us know team number 308 is getting picked up. Text again with team number when you are with that same team number 308 is safe when you're in your support vehicles. We say text because that phone is going to be very busy coming through, and we need to make sure everyone is still accessible. So once you're in that support vehicle, go somewhere safe, keep that radio on, and we will let you know what's going on through channel 1. We can see where you are because we are tracking you at that stage as well.
So that's a great protocol for the 43, the 57 and the 100-kilometre teams. Again, you're a lot more spread out because of your longer distances, and you're also working the most remote parts of the course that is difficult for us to get to, which is why we need lots of cars going and getting everyone really quickly. The 30 kilometres, you don't have support crew because your part of the course is a lot safer. And we can get access to you. There's parts of, you're in Devil Bend where we can drive buses into, you're along roads and stuff like that. So we have buses on standby that are ready to come out. And again, you're bunched up a lot closer together over that shorter distance because you haven't been out there for 8 or 9 hours and spread out a lot more. So the 30-kilometre teams, you will be going to certain points. We'll have staff there going there, okay, all these 30 kilometres get to that point and we get on a bus. The next ones are all going to that spot as well. So you guys will just be going to specific spots and getting picked up in the luxury of a chauffeur-driven bus.
Once again, you'll be hearing this through your radio on that channel 1.
Most important thing is don't panic. And don't stress about it. It would be very, very unlikely to have a complete event.
We talk about this a lot right here, but this is the one that most likely is not going to happen, but we still need to make sure.
In all our planning that we do, but we still plan. Okay, so when we're talking about planning for the best but preparing for the worst, this also includes some things that you guys can be doing at your house while we're doing everything from our end to cover everything that can happen. So if you need an ambulance on the day, we're not going to hesitate to call an ambulance. And I think Dr. Annie will agree with me. She'll be the first person getting somebody there. If you don't have ambulance cover, this is going to be an expensive bill. This isn't something we're going to consider if there is a dangerous situation and we need to save your life. It's not even going to come into our thought process. So we would highly recommend, if you don't have ambulance coverage, to definitely get it before event day, because it is easy to trip over a tree branch or not be concentrating and hit your head or something like that. And we will call the ambulance.
Yeah, we would also like to highly encourage you take out your personal accident insurance cover for anything else that does actually happen. We're very lucky to be able to tap into Athletics Victoria's system so you can get insured for only the $10. And this covers you not only on the event day, but it also covers you in training and on challenge day. You need to read the fine print policy yourself, but it also means you have some protection against loss of income, medical expenses, etc. But you need to check with that there. But for those last couple of weeks of training, it does really help out. Just have that little bit more peace of mind as well.
And for anyone who's tried to get personal accident insurance coverage, I don't think you can
Just
with
play along
$10 of getting yourself covered. All right. It's also really important to put some thought and to consideration into how you're going to keep yourself healthy on course. You've made it to the start line. You definitely want to get to the finish line. So the how to prep session that we ran in February, this was brilliant. With these are just some of our guest speakers we had. We had our wilderness medic, Tony, spoke for quite a bit. We had Dr. Verity from Bayside Osteo. We had Emma there from the Foot Centre group, as well as some of our past walkers, Jess and Stefan spoke about it from a walker's perspective. It was brilliant, all the stuff that they gave through. If you have not already watched this or attended it, we cannot recommend highly enough to jump on it and do it. There is some really valuable information that will help you not end up in a big mess and feeling very sore and sorry for yourself towards the end, or not be able to get to the end because your body's broken down.
So once again, accessible from that training dashboard, training resources. Okay.
Some of the key tips. Yep, go.
Get this one. All right. Some of the key tips from the evening that evening were basically nutrition and hydration is very important, obviously, for any endurance event. They give some great suggestions during the presentation. Drink the supplied electrolyte drink, Aqualyte, at each wellness stop. This shouldn't be in place of water, but in addition to water. So do not fill your drink bottle, or don't fill your bladder with Aqualyte. Bring a separate secondary cup or a small little drink bottle with the Aqualyte, and your main bladder is for water.
Yeah, we definitely get worried when we see people filling up their 2 litres with Aqualyte. You can have too much electrolytes in your system and get yourself in trouble there. So definitely lots of water complemented by some Aqualyte.
Yeah. Use stretch stations at each wellness stop. There'll be yoga mats, there'll be rolling bars. Yeah. So even if you don't need it, also those doing the 100K, make sure you stretch at a long time at the end of the day.
And
Go jump in the ocean.
Dr. Verity had a big talk about the best things to do at the end of that 43K night. So definitely jump on and see her. But she was pretty big that you need to sit down and spend a bit of time stretching.
Yeah.
Also, the biggest thing from the how to prep session from all the experts was do not use anything new on the day. So you should have all your gear now and you should be training in it. This includes your shoes, your socks, the clothes you're going to wear. If you want to use poles, don't have anything new on challenge day. We also take it as far to say, try some of the snacks you're going to have.
Yeah.
Be drinking. If you can go and buy some Aqualyte from, I'm pretty sure it's at Chemist Warehouse and stuff. Just even get it and have a few glasses of that while you're out training. So your body's getting used to these things and you're used to those. Make sure that you bring extra socks. We can't tell you enough how many times to change socks. Change your socks. Best thing to avoid blisters. Don't have low cut socks, as they're going to give you some trouble on the back of your heel. And take advantage of the hotspot boxes at all our wellness stops. So we've got free Scholl's blister plaids. We've got little physio cream satchels. So as soon as you're starting to feel something doesn't feel quite right, little hotspot on your foot or your shoes irritating a little bit, get them on straight away, and they can avoid a lot of trouble down the track.
Bit of a sore muscle, get that physio cream and roll it on you and rub it on yourself there. Okay, really want to thank the amazing partners that we have. Definitely getting us all along the line. They'll be out there helping you guys through the event and through the challenge, and they've helped us with that support all the way.
So we appreciate that this close to challenge day, everyone is starting to get a little anxious, a little worried, and a little nervous. We can easily get caught up with what we have going on in our own world, and hence why we also hope that you are all doing the Gratitude Mindset Challenge with Fiona at the moment. In the middle of the busyness of planning and preparing on top of your day-to-day life, just remember to take a deep breath. Remember to be kind to your teammates. Reach out and see how they're traveling. They might be starting to get nervous and anxious as well. Remember to be kind with how you interact with the GAR crew. Make sure that there are big thank yous for all the volunteers that you interact with and come across on the day. And it's also important to remember to be kind to yourself. You should be extremely proud for signing up and getting to the start line. Never forget that you're not alone on this journey. This is a team challenge. You have teammates and you also have the GAR community and all the GAR crew with you. We're going to be with you every step of the way. After you hit that start line, we're going all the way till we get you to the finish line. And so now, just to make sure that you get excited and stop worrying, get excited and think in just over 2 weeks, this is going to be you.
Work, if it didn't work, that it hurts, that damn it hurts. That lovey-dovey shit was not a fan of it. I'm good with my friends, I don't want a man, girl. I'm in my bed, I'm way too fine to be here alone. On the other hand, I know my worth, and now he calling me. Why do I feel like this? What's happened to me? Oh, oh, oh. Am I ready? Ain't a doubt. Am I ready? What you talking about? Am I ready? You gon' figure it out. To be loved, to be loved. Am I ready? You deserve it now. Am I ready? That's what I'm talking about. Am I ready? You gon' figure it out. To be loved, to be loved. How am I supposed to love somebody else when I don't like myself? Like, oh.
So guys, are you all ready to go? So what we're going to do now is we are going to jump into all your questions in a moment, but first we just like to introduce Ben from Lifeline to say a few words.
Hey everyone. And thanks for having me. Just trying for me, it's Gadigal people, and pay my respect to elders past, present and emerging, and any Aboriginal people with us here today. I'm super excited to have a chance to speak to all of you tonight. Just listening to some of the information and all the hard work that Luke and Anna have put into this event is really inspiring. I'm also really looking forward to meeting each of you on the course when Chloe and I, who's also on this call. Chloe, I don't know
Hi
if
everyone.
So if we don't find you, we'd love you to come and say hi to us, but we'll be doing our best to say hi to every single one of you down on the course. And as I was saying, a massive thanks to Luke and Anna for all their hard work. I'm sure you guys all feel the same as what we do. So a big heartfelt thank you from all of the Lifeline family to you, Luke and Anna. You've created a really inspiring community, a community full of mates, as you guys were just talking about then. So I join you tonight as a representative of Lifeline. It's an organization I'm really humbled yet truly proud to work for. I'm sure you guys need no reminder that as you embark on this journey, and it is a journey, especially those that are doing the 100 kilometers, wow, and remember, change your socks. If that's one thing I've learned from tonight, change your socks. Just remember that every dollar that you guys raise is helping to save someone's life. Every step that you take on this hike represents a step towards a better future for those who may be struggling with their mental health. Lifeline has been a beacon of hope for millions of people around Australia, providing a safe and supportive space for those who may be going through tough times. Lifeline has helped countless individuals navigate their way through difficult times and provided a lifeline for those who may have felt like giving up. Your incredible fundraising efforts are helping to provide this support. So if I can ask each and every one of you to do 3 things, and also ask your teammates to do these, so then maybe that's 4 things that I'm asking you to do. But if you can please leave this call tonight and do these simple 3 things. So the first one is donate to yourself. This shows your commitment to the cause and it leads by example. Second thing is share your page. It sounds really simple and it is. Email the link around to people, post it on your social media, ask your plumber, ask your hairdresser, ask your dentist, ask your friends, ask your family, ask your workmates, even ask your boss. And the third thing is tell your story. This is personal. Give your reasons. Let people know why you're taking on this challenge. And if you don't feel like sharing your own personal story, just share the dollar handles. So they're things that you would have been emailed by us at Lifeline. And it's as simple as $39 goes to answering a call. So if you do those simple 3 things and then ask your teammates to name, it'll make a massive difference. So similar message I just heard from Luke and Anna. You're surrounded by a community of like-minded individuals who share a passion for helping people, and together we're making a difference. So a massive thank you from Lifeline.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you. We just lost you at the end. But thank you very much for that, and for reminding everybody to change their socks. So I'm looking forward to meeting you both as well on the course. It'll be great. I'm looking forward to meeting all of you online, who are online tonight as well on the course. It was there last year. It's a truly magnificent event. So just before we finish up, we're just going to come to questions, Anna and Luke. Is that what we're doing here now?
Yeah, so we can see there's one about snake protocol that welcome Councillor Despy O'Connor, who's one of the local councillors down here and will be joining us on the 100-kilometre challenge. She's answered it pretty well. So basically our view of this is we're at the snake's house. So we need to be respectful of the snake. The best thing to do is to stand still. If there's other walkers behind you, just little hand up, stand still, be quiet, be calm, let the snake go away. Yep. There are so many of us out there on the day that it's highly unlikely that there's, if you go and do 2 bays just by yourself one day, you're probably going to see a snake. When there's hundreds of us walking around, the snakes are kind of knowing that's not a place they want to be that day, and they're going to be out of there. So it's not a high risk, but the best thing is to remain calm, stand still, let the snake leave the area. Also remember that you do have, this is why you have 2 snake bandages on you. As part of your team, is that you do that in case there is a snake. So you are prepared if you see one, but again, as Despy said, highly unlikely with all of us walking and talking, because we're hoping you're talking.
That's right. They don't like the noise, so just keep that noise, and just be wary of them, but you most likely won't see one.
Yeah. Another question here just came through to me on the private message. For the 30 kilometres, understand we need the high vis vests are a great idea for poor visibility. We'll ask my team to purchase. For the 30 kilometre walk, do we all need a head torch?
Look, you can use your phone instead of a head torch. It's just, you got to remember that when it's dark, you're in Devil Bend. It is not smooth terrain. It is a bit bumpy. If we've had a bit of rain there the week before, it's even a little bit more undulating. You're going through a forest at one stage. There's tree roots, all that. You've walked 30 kilometres, you're tired. So if you want to hold your phone torch up while you're walking those last little bits, I was talking to somebody about this in an email the other day, and you can pick them up for $5 at some places. So for me, I'd be wanting to put a head torch on my head and be able to do that.
It's much easier.
Yeah, if you're 100% confident you're going to be home at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, no, you don't need a head torch.
That's right. Yeah.
Exactly.
SMS is not a guaranteed form of communication. So is there a protocol to confirm messages are received?
Basically, on top of the messages coming in, unless it's in that evacuation situation, the phone will be manned at all times. So if a text is sent in, it will be checked and you will get a reply.
Even if it's just a thumbs up.
Yeah. So we will be manning that as it goes.
Any other questions, team, before we finish up? If you want to throw them in the chat. I think Anna and Luke, like everything Great Aussie Hike related, is like super organised.
And we love answering questions now.
Now's the time.
It's easier now
it's easier
to run through, and then there might be other people who have thought of that question as well. Whereas with an email, only one person sees that response. Or if we just told you too much, and it's all. No,
look, I think you really know what to communicate, and you know what people need to know. So if there are any further questions, if you just want to raise your hand, if you're typing it in the chat, just so we know. Someone cannot locate the map for day 2. My understanding is it hasn't actually been released yet, Anna. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That's right. Yeah. We haven't. So it's still private at the minute there, Michelle. Day 1 we have to do the testing with, so that's why that is visible, but it will be released soon.
Yeah, so there's no maps. I can see other people saying I can't get onto the map. As we said, the next participant info guide will have the map links in it, and that'll be tomorrow night or Friday morning.
Yeah.
Do many people use walking?
They've started coming through too fast now.
Do many people use walking poles?
I would say probably 1 to 2 every event. I know Tony in the how to prep session, he was a big fan of them and explained why. If you haven't started using them now, I would say it's too late.
Yes. It's a personal choice. They're not needed, but it's a personal choice for the walk.
Safety pins for the bibs, yes.
Yep, we'll have safety pins. They'll come with your packs.
It's my mum's job. She loves it.
Okay, I think that's everything then. So if you this training will also be available as a recording, as will the other 2 briefing sessions will also be available as recordings. So if you've got questions, I highly suggest that you go back and watch those sessions if you weren't able to attend them live.
Yeah, really recommend the How to Prep session. It was really good.
Day 1 will be starting at 7.
We didn't start at 8:30 last year.
Yeah,
No. We were well and truly at there. You're at the first.
We were a little bit later than 7, but it wasn't 8:30.
Yeah,
it felt like that at the time.
I was going to say there were gale force winds, and the Parks Victoria Ranger was standing behind us and didn't give us the green light to let you out onto the course till 7:20. But by 8:30 we had people going through wellness stop 1. So definitely you're out there early.
And Cheryl's just said, great work, team. I'm very impressed with all the info. Cheryl, wait till you're out on course is all I've got to say.
You might even get a hug from Fiona.
Sorry?
You might even get a hug from Fiona.
No, I'm always up for hugs. Okay, so they are super organised. Cheryl, there's nothing to be scared of.
Yeah, Cheryl, there's definitely not. This is, as it's been mentioned here, this is a community of people. We'll help you out through it throughout the day. It's not a pressure event. It's you walk what you can. We'll help you get there.
And especially towards the end, remember we've got our golf buggies. So there is nothing stopping you from jumping up. We often have people just jump in the golf buggy for half an hour, drive around. We then go and find their team. So it's not about you having to walk every single kilometre. I think, Fiona, the last one, you picked someone up and went along the course for an hour and found them up in Beechworth in your car. So yeah, we're more than okay with you jumping off, having a little bit of a rest, and we will get you back on. It's not you come off and you're disqualified and can't finish. Even if you're just walking out that last little bit at the finish line, nothing to be scared about. If you are really worried, please give us a call tomorrow on that number that we have been broadcasting everywhere and is on our website. Definitely give us a call and just chat to us tomorrow one-on-one. We want you excited.
Exactly. And it is a great day, and it's a great feeling having everyone there and just all in the same mindset and just enjoying it.
And as Despy said here, we'll all help each other. There's
correct,
no team that's walking past you if you're struggling.
And for those of you who haven't joined the Facebook group, make sure you join in that as well, because that's really great to kind of connect in with the community now and feel inspired and share what you're up to as well. And you can take part in the 21-day gratitude challenge that's going on in there at the moment. I'd love to see some more participation on that too.
Yeah, no, and that's a really great way to get your mindset in the right place before you go on this walk. And that 21-day mindset challenge Fiona's running each morning is really brilliant. So you can even hop on and watch some of the old recordings and do a catch up, but definitely you're getting yourself physically ready, get yourself mentally ready as well.
Last question.
It's the Great Aussie Hike Facebook community group. There is a link in every newsletter that we send out every week. So it's pretty easy. You can type that into Facebook or just click through one of those links.
Yeah, and I think, Therese, you've just asked about the list, names and numbers. Send us an email and we'll see
but that list is changing, I reckon, every 30 minutes at the moment. We're struggling to stay on top of the list. So yeah, it definitely would be something we could get out to everyone.
And Chris, just wait on maps. They will be released with this when this video goes out. Okay, so they'll be coming out then.
Okay. Hang on, I've got some more messages. Tremendous briefing. Thank you. It feels like a terribly well organised, supportive and joyful community. Well, that's exactly what it is, Kerry. Day 1 map for ride with GPS.
Tomorrow night, Friday morning.
Yep. Awesome, guys. So excited. We love Anna's mum. So pumped, ready for their time during the Great Aussie Hike 100. Fantastic, Christine. Looking forward to meeting you all out on course. Chloe from Lifeline. Oh, thanks, Chloe.
Yeah, thanks, Chloe and Ben, for joining us.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you for coming down.
For being part of it, and go out and fundraise and train and enjoy yourselves and get excited and feel like you're doing something really awesome with your life, because you are.
Yeah.
And it's only 2 weeks, guys.
Yay.
We can't wait to see you all. Don't be stressed now. Go and plan your costumes. Make it tough for the volunteers to pick who the winners are.
And Luke and Anna, from all of us, thank you again for your tireless work and dedication to getting this event up and running. I know it's an incredibly big job, so your work is appreciated.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Bye.